What's up guys, and welcome back to Outdoor Beards. Over the weekend I had the pleasure of hiking Stack Rock here in Boise, Idaho. Turns out I was not prepared for this hike and I ran into a little bit of trouble, and maybe, just maybe, you guys can learn from my mistakes. Now real quick before I get into this tale, we're trying to put together a list of awesome outdoor spots that we would like to go visit, mainly in the northwest of the United States, maybe southwest of Canada. I would really like to go see Johnston Falls up in Canada. Brandon wants to go hit up Silver City up here in Idaho. So if you have any suggestions on places you would like to see us go, hike, and film, please type it down in the comments below and we'll add it to the list and see when we can get there. Alright, so back to the story. This is how it went down. I like to do a little bit of research before I go out somewhere. Kind of, know what I'm doing. At least that's the idea. In this case, it completely failed me, but I did make the attempt. So I had pulled up a map, and this map said it was 4 miles in, 4 miles out, and I was like, that's cool, we can do that. That'll be a short little, 3-4 hour hike. That'll be fine. Somewhere right around here, if we're looking at this map, we took a wrong turn. We came out here to the right somehow. Our total trek ended up being 16 miles instead of 8, like it was supposed to be. All because of the simple mistake of taking a right-hand turn when we should have taken a left-hand turn. So we finally get up to Stack Rock. We're super excited. We're climbing all over the place. I'm pulling out the drone so I can take some drone shots. We're looking up at this thing trying to figure out how we're going to get to the top of it, because you almost have to climb up a rock wall to get there. And as we're trying to figure this out, we start feeling a little bit of raindrops. Now this isn't really too big of a deal, it happens. The weather did not say anything about rain, so we weren't really too worried about it. We thought, okay, it'll just be a little drizzle and then we'll be done. Turns out these rocks are covered in moss, and when moss gets wet, it gets really slippery. So we started having trouble actually just walking on these things. And then the sky just kind of opens up and explodes. I mean, it was a complete and total downpour. We had this storm, we got wind, we got rain. So we climb down off of these rocks and we go over to, there's basically 2 boulders leaning against each other, and we've got a nice little dry spot in here. So we hung out under there. It was getting a little cold, so we started a small fire, and we just figured we'd sit there and wait until the storm blew over, eat our lunch, and at this point I realized I had run out of water. The only thing I have with me is a beer that I was supposed to drink at the top of the mountain. I decided to save that until we got back to the car. And I'm really glad I did, because after this was over, that was the best, drinking that beer after this whole ordeal. Alright, so at this point, we've been sitting under here for like 45 minutes. We're running out of firewood because the only stuff that was dry was the stuff that was in our little structure. Everything else is outside and completely soaked. It's starting to get windy. We're getting cold. I'm out of water, and I don't know, it's just one of those situations where like, okay, what do you want to do? So we decided we're just going to hoof it down the hill, because once you start going down the hill, the wind dies down because you're no longer on top. So we thought it would be a little warmer down there, even if we were completely soaking wet. So Brandon pulls out a poncho, and I'm like, oh, that would be useful. It's just a little plastic thing. It's like this big, all folded up in his bag, and a little one-time use. He unfolds it, throws it on. I'm like, hey, yeah, I don't have one of those. Yeah, that was smart. I didn't expect there to be rain, so I didn't even think about packing a poncho. So he's sitting there with this nice poncho, nice and dry, and I took our trash bag and put it underneath my hat, so at least I would keep my head dry, and I'm walking down the mountain with a trash bag on my head, because I didn't plan. That's what I get. I have to wear a trash bag on my head because I failed to plan. So what's the moral of the story? You can still have fun even if a bunch of stuff goes wrong. It was still a great trip. It was a great hike. Beautiful views while we were up there. 3 things that you need to remember. Number 1, print a map. Number 2, bring more water than you think you need. And number 3, bring something just in case the weather turns bad. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you found this video helpful and could learn something from it before your next outdoor adventure. Plan ahead, be safe, have fun, and as always, stay bearded, my friends.